we celebrate Alex Johnson's NRL Rugby League try scoring 213 tries, the record after all these years. Good on you, Alex. And a humble champion like the bloke we're going to talk to.
Oh, yes.
Harold the H. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Right.
He's got the local story about a transported convict who in 1856 set the Ipswich robbery record, and it's still, believe it or not, Damien, it still exists today. G'day there, Harold the H.
Yes, good morning, Damo and Danny. It's a historic day today. There should be banners in the streets, at least across our prisons. It's a great day.
Well, it is a great day, and we might try to organise it through the mayor.
Yeah, that's right. But it's a little bit of unusual special day because it is the anniversary of, like you said, the Ipswich's record robbery. I'll tell you about now if you want.
Yeah, well, I'm interested.
Yeah, but his name was Richard Austin, or Dick Austin to his friends. He was born in 1828 in Staffordshire, England. He worked as a cloth carver and got into a spot of bother and was convicted of horse theft and sentenced to 7 years transportation.
Right.
Now, Austin was one of 297 convicts who arrived at Moreton Bay aboard the ship Bangalore on the 30th of April, 1850.
Right.
And they were all immediately given the ticket leave because the colony needed workers.
Right.
Now, in 1856, Austin was living here in Ipswich and was betrothed to marry an Irish girl, Mary Ann Prendergast,
Right.
and that's when things really went bad.
Right.
You see, on the evening of Friday, the 14th of March, 1856, the politician Arthur Slippery Mac McAllister held a meeting of electors at the Queen's Arms Hotel in Ipswich on the corner of Brisbane and Eastridge. McAllister, you probably know, would go on to become Queensland Premier and responsible for the narrow gauge railway.
Yeah.
Now, most of the Ipswich people at Queen's Arms, sometime between 10 and 11 o'clock, Austin get out of the meeting and went to Bigot and Parks, the watchmakers and jewellers on Union Street. Now, the business was owned by John Parks, who would become an Ipswich alderman. Now, Austin wasn't there to buy a ring for his wedding, which was actually in 11 days' time. You see, Austin cleaned out the entire stock, taking all manner of jewellery. There were watches and gemstones, in all over £400 worth, which is over $500,000 in today's money.
Wow.
That beats even the $400,000 robbery of Hastings Jewellers in Ipswich in 1931. On that occasion, the burglar used a giant tin opener. But Austin, he broke in through the front door. Now, his $500,000 robbery is an Ipswich record that stands to this day, and today being the 170th anniversary. That's why there should be bunting in the street.
Well, we're already on the phone. Our executive producer's onto the phone to the mayor trying to organise it now.
Yeah, look, although it may be celebratory, but Austin actually thought he got away with it. You see, it was 6 months later until he was arrested when some of the missing jewels were found in a box in his room at the Red Cow Inn on Union Street, which was only about 15 metres from the jewellery store he robbed. Now, his trial defence was probably doomed when he called as witnesses the tin worker and forger, William Bell, and the horse breaker and thief, Adam Watson. Anyway, Austin was convicted of the lesser charge of receiving stolen goods.
Was that receiving swollen goods or stolen goods?
No, they were stolen and they were found in his bedroom, and he was sentenced to 3 years hard labour on the road gangs. Now, sadly, his first child was actually born while he was in incarceration. Now, Austin did his time, regained his ticket leave, and he and his wife had 2 more children.
Wow.
He also stayed in touch with his travelling companions from the Bangalore, and among those on the ship were convict John Hutton, who became Queensland's first ever public executioner, and the pensioner guard Michael Turley, who became the oldest man ever murdered in prison. But there was also Peter Gentle, who was one of the first hotel keepers in Toowoomba. And look, Gentle appeared in the Ipswich courthouse charged with forging bank checks and receiving stolen goods, and always refused to name names. While his personal mission, it seemed, was to keep fellow ticket leave men out of jail. Now, by 1861, Austin had 3 children, all under 4, and he was finding it tough. He was arrested for stealing a bullock's yoke, for bullockys, pulling wagons.
Yeah.
Austin was in the Toowoomba lockup when Gentle paid a visit and offered the constable in charge £50 bribe to let Austin go. The constable declined. Now, Austin was convicted and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. Gentle then almost certainly bribed one of the constables assigned to escort Austin to Brisbane jail. You see, after delaying tactics by Austin, the party arrived at Gatton Creek on nightfall. Now, Austin, without handcuffs, was sent to cross over a log first. And as you might expect, when he got to the other side, he just bolted into the bush. Our horses would have been waiting, and Austin was never seen again.
Wow.
And at the end of all that, Constable Burton, who was the bribed constable, let him go. He was promoted to acting chief constable in Toowoomba. Peter Gentle, the convict who helped him escape, continued to protect ticket leave men. While Dick Austin himself, he retains to this day the record of the biggest robbery in Ipswich history.
The biggest robbery in Ipswich's history. And still the
That's
biggest.
right, $500,000 from 1856, and it still stands.
Wow. Another story he's got from the down on the boondocks. He's unbelievable where he does it. How long do you research these things for?
Oh, well, 170 years this one was in the making. But it's been ongoing because, see, when you get into history, you see, one story leads to another. There's connections between Toowoomba and Ipswich, and there's so many stories in there. We're in a really rich historical area, Danny, and we should be proud of Ipswich and its past, no matter good or bad. It's got a past and it's a history, and you can see it in the streets. Beautiful buildings.
What a record.
More visitors. People come down, have coffee. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And have the record of the biggest heist, the biggest robbery in Ipswich. That's a great honour.
Well, there's no other city that would have the record for the biggest robbery in Ipswich, is there? So that's all I want to say.
Now, well, let's. Where do we find this story and other stories? Because you also appear on the award-winning Damien Lee breakfast program on.
Who?
Damien Lee.
No idea.
Well, what's the
So
station?
that would be that's you, Damo.
Oh, sorry.
What's the
Damo, right.
station?
Oh, yeah.
4AK.
For OK, so you're on there as well. So how do we hear this story and get a look at this story with your website?
Yeah, you can find all about history out there on the socials, on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Or you can go to my website and see and hear all the stories. That website is historyouthere.com.
Send him an audio and say it's his audio, and we all know him the H by arc. Very important that you put it on the Facebook page. Arc. Lovely having you on the program, Harold.
See you next week.
I'll see you next week with another great story about Ipswich on West Bremer Radio. It is now 8:21.